Hello and welcome to another episode of the Uncommon Energy Podcast, the best part of your Wednesday morning commute. That's what people tell me, at least. A lot of people say that that's their favorite part of their Wednesday commute. Anyway,
People have been
today,
saying that. Yeah, I've heard.
so on this week's episode, we've got a lot to talk about. First up, some new cards that came out, or not come out, but have been revealed that will be coming out in a while, actually, because we've got a whole set that's coming out before these cards will come out, but we'll still talk about them. Japan is getting them soon. Must be nice. We will talk about a new documentary that was released in the community, a pretty big deal, pretty cool piece that came out. We'll talk about that. We will, of course, have Guess That Flavor Text, everyone's favorite segment of the podcast. And then we're going to wrap up this week by talking about open deck lists coming to Pokemon tournaments, potentially, question mark, question mark, question mark. Does anyone know if it's happening, when it's happening? Could it happen? We don't know, but we'll talk about our opinions on it and the potential of it happening based on an announcement in this week's episode. My name is Chipper Chi, and I'm joined here, as always, by my friend and co-host, Azul GG. What's up, Azul? How we doing, buddy? How's your week been?
Been pretty good. Back to this is for some uncommon energy lore. At the beginning of every podcast episode, I always start with back to my content grind. And Chip at one point was just like, Azul, you got to come up with something better. But I took a little break after World, so I've been back on the content grind
Let's
the last
go.
week or so. And I mentioned this like 2 weeks ago, I think now, but I have someone managing my YouTube channel. And this is probably something I was probably at a point where I could have had someone doing this for me like at the beginning of the year, but honestly, it has been like just such a big change in like I like that much more excited to like do content. Like so like having like kind of a lot of the work shifted off of me as far as like anything revolving my YouTube channel for the most part moved and someone else managing it, and then me just kind of having being able to just focus on streaming has been like really really nice. So it's helped me really enjoy streaming quite a bit more. Feel a little bit less burnt out, doing 3, 4, 5 days in a row of streaming and then like having to like deal with all the YouTube stuff. So yeah, just kind of like that much more excited to be doing the content, I guess, moving forward from here, having all that kind of lined up now and in motion. So yeah, just been enjoying content the last couple weeks or last week or so now. What about
It's
you,
great
Chip?
to hear. Happy to hear you got that sorted out. Yeah, I mean, that was a big deal for us with the second channel, right? Like getting editors and
Yeah.
stuff involved, like because whenever I was editing videos, we were posting like one every 2 months or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel you. Um, and back to my YouTube days as well. That was like one of the things I was never very consistent with YouTube. Basically, I did YouTube for like what I don't know, 5 years or something like that, and was like
Yeah, you did it for a
never
while.
never super consistent because I would always have a hard time with the. I liked the streaming part of doing content and stuff, but the making videos and stuff, it was just yeah, I can understand how that's a big thing to have taken care of for you. But yeah, I'm doing good this week. I did, unfortunately, since we talked about it last week, I guess I must bring it up now. I did unfortunately have to sit through that terrible football game that Clemson played on Saturday night,
Oh, I forgot.
where we did lose the game. And it was a brutal one. It was not a fun one. We did not. It was not fun to watch. We did not play very well. Our defense looked okay. We actually held
Mhm.
LSU to only 17 points, which if you told me that before the game, I would have assumed that that would probably have meant that we won because we did hold them to 17. But we only scored 10. Our offense was abysmal. We could not run the ball. Not going to get into too much football stuff to bore everyone, but it was bad. And it makes me worried for the rest of the year because I was very excited for this season because we were looking pretty good and our quarterback was looking like he was supposed to be really good. And I think he played fine overall. There was not really a lot of help. Our best receiver went down really early in the game and didn't come back. Apparently, with some sort of like hamstring injury, it looked like. So that was definitely a big miss, but no one else was able to really step up and get open. And we could not run the ball at all. We like barely even tried to run the ball as well, which made it bad. It was a bad showing from Clemson. But we'll do better next week because we're playing Troy. So hopefully we
Are
win
they
that one.
are they bad?
Oh yeah, it's just a very small school. It'd be like, yeah, it's just a
I
small
guess
school.
that is kind of like a big part of I guess I didn't really ever like think about that. I mean, I guess it can be I mean, like, yeah, as like a bigger school, I mean, there's a higher chance,
Yeah,
to have the better teams. Is
it's
there
just
like an
about like
anomaly? Is
it's
there an anomaly in college football where like one school, a lot smaller, but they have like a really good team usually? Or is that not really? Is it usually
I mean, it'll
track
be
pretty
no, it's usually
bigger schools, better teams?
yeah, bigger schools have stronger teams because they just have better recruiting resources and stuff. And then especially
Yeah.
nowadays with NIL, a lot of it is just about how much money you have
Yeah, yeah.
because
Now
players
that
can be
players get
paid.
paid.
So like the schools that have the biggest boosters and the best opportunity for them to get brand deals, like for the local, Toyota dealership or whatever, right? Like they can get paid a lot more. And so they have more money. There's more opportunity there. But I mean, bad teams do beat good teams, right? It happens. Like there's been upsets before, right? Some just like little spark of magic, underpreparedness from the good team, you know, whatever it is, it's happened before. But it is I mean, most of the time, I mean, and literally that's why a lot of times in college football, the very first weekend of the year, for a lot of like good college football teams, they play a lower, smaller school, like from the FCS, the like lower division of college football, and they call it like a tune-up game. Did you ever see the movie The Longest Yard?
No, I've heard of it though.
They talk about it in that movie about having a tune-up game where it's like it's a new because in compared to like professional sports, it's like you'll have guys who are on the same team for like 12 years, right?
Yeah.
But with college, it's like a full new crew every single year. And it's like a
Yeah.
new team every year in the pros as well, but it's like you'll return a lot more people on average, and people are just better and more experienced as well in pros. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, so it's like a big part of it in college is like just getting in the flow of playing a football game as this new team, this new unit. And so a lot of people will literally play small schools and just score 50, 60 points to just like get in the rhythm, and then start playing their like conference opponents the rest of the year. But
Yeah,
Clemson
yeah.
decided to start the season off as we have the last few years playing like a SEC school. And we did lose, so that was a rough one, but it's all right. Stand by my Tigers still forever. The real Tigers, the real Death Valley, all that stuff. And excited for professional football starting in 2 days, bro. 2 days.
Oh, does it really? I didn't even know. I didn't see like usually like my source of it's just like when I go on Twitter, which I've been doing a lot less recently, is like that'll be my source. That'll be if something like that's how I'll know when something big is happening in the world.
Yeah, it is the Eagles and the Cowboys at 8:20 this Thursday. I will be watching.
8:20.
Oh, and then
Yeah.
also Samuel started preschool today. Actually, it was his first day of
Oh,
preschool, which was a big deal and very fun, and he had a good time. So that was very happy.
yeah. You enjoyed the experience. It
Yeah, I
seemed
was.
like you did.
He's a little bit of he can be a little
He's a
quieter, like more hesitant sometimes. So I was a little worried about how I would do, but the teacher said he did great. She said he was a little quiet, but like, he played, he didn't cry when we dropped him off, which is good. I feel like that's like a win right away.
yeah.
He told us that there was other kids in the class who did cry, but he did not cry. He did tell us that. But he said he had fun. He said he played with toys, and I was like, "Oh, did you make new friends?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "What are their names?" And he said, "I don't know." So maybe we'll work on learning people's names the rest of the week here. But
He's got to
fun times over here.
learn how to introduce himself.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, we can just go ahead and hop into our first topic, I should say, which is some new cards that recently got revealed. So these are cards that are going to be coming out in Phantasmal Flames, which I guess actually let's start by looking at a little bit of news. I think it's over on PokeBeach. PokeBeach shared some news about Phantasmal Flames. Some new products that were revealed, like the booster box. We see the artwork for the packs, so we know it's a Mega Charizard set, Mega
Ooh.
Gengar, right? We knew those things, but two Pokemon we didn't know that were coming necessarily:
Yeah.
Mega Lopunny and Mega Heracross.
This like at first I thought there's gonna be the Japanese artwork for it, but this just all feels so dude, it's like we don't even have Mega Evolution. Like what are we doing, man? Like we're seeing the cards from another set that Japan is gonna be getting before we have Mega Evolution. We get to see the artwork for the set after Mega Evolution before we have Mega Evolution. It just feels so it's so weird. Like it just feels so weird. It's like they're giving us the patch notes 4 patches from now, but we have all the other patch notes to catch up on still. Like,
Dude, this
I
is
don't
like
know.
on brand. This is not abnormal though to have this before
Maybe
the set comes out.
is it before the next set comes out?
Yeah, yeah, this is not abnormal.
Oh, maybe I just don't like. I only go to Poke Beach ever to look at new cards. I guess maybe that's why. Like, I
No,
just
this is not abnormal at all to
okay,
have
good.
this stuff.
But then even then though, dude, it just feels so disjoint. Like, I don't know. It's just annoying. I guess like as like a player who like I feel like the game is like not ruined. You just get you play less Pokemon when Japan gets the card so much faster than us, and it just feels like an extension of that. I guess it's kind of like it feels kind of annoying that like we don't
Yeah.
even have Mega Evolution yet, and like oh here are the artworks for the next products as well. Also, I feel like that has to feel kind of like I don't know, maybe even on the collector side of thing, like. How can you have fun collecting collecting this stuff? There's no surprises anymore. I don't know. There's like nothing. I don't know. There's no surprises or like anything anymore.
They don't care about the surprise, bro. They
Yeah.
care about how much money the piece of cardboard is worth.
Maybe I don't know. It makes everything just feel less like less hype, less cool, less enjoyable. And I'm
Now
not
there
really
are
a
people out there
collector,
who
but
it's like
like,
they're going to be excited regardless. Like
yeah,
their favorite Pokemon is Gengar, right? They pull any cool Gengar card, they're going to be pumped, right? It doesn't matter how much it's worth, but
yeah. And I'm gonna enjoy playing with the cards, whether or not Japan has already had them for
yeah,
months ahead of us. But it just makes it like less. I don't know. It just feels less. I don't know. Everything just feels less.
I feel
I
you.
want. I want to go back to the times when we didn't even know what cards were in the set until people were opening the set on pre-release day. Like we had no idea about the set list or something like or anything like that.
We're not going back there, buddy.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just it all feels like it moves so fast. It's like everything is coming so fast, but like we don't get anything. Like a lot of things are it's like endless announcements and then endless reveals, but without getting anything to actually work with. But I guess like I don't know. But I guess maybe part of it also as well is like it just doesn't feel like it's getting any like theoretically I feel like it would be better, but I don't know if it'll ever change, but it doesn't feel like we're ever getting any better. So it's like an endless cycle.
Another thing here that we could talk about, and I don't actually know where this information is coming from, because there's no like card reveals from the set. Like these are both promos, the Sneasel and the Weavile here.
Yeah.
But Pokebeach does report here that Phantasmal Flames will be our smallest set in years. It will only contain around 90 cards before secret rares. Heart, Gold, Soul Silver, Undaunted in 2010 was the last regular set to contain a similar number of cards with 90 cards in its main set.
Interesting. So they are confirming that that's our set. That's not going to be the Japanese set. Interesting. That is super small because what is it usually like 160, 170?
Most recent sets, yeah, it's been huge. I mean,
I wonder if this
Destined
is
Rivals was 180, so this is half the
yeah.
size of Destined Rivals.
And over in Japan, sometimes that is what their set release looks like. I feel like sometimes like our sets are usually overinflated because like Japan will get like a bunch of like promo stuff and other products that contain cards that aren't in their main set that we then get all clumped together in one of our main sets.
That's why you'll
Makes
have like a
sense.
random Snorlax EX and Prismatic Evolutions or something, you
Yeah.
know.
I don't know. That's definitely interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. I wonder. I mean, I would hope that's kind of a trend. A trend. I do feel like sets are like very bloated, and it's not to say that we like to come. And it's kind of weird because it doesn't really affect the collector side of things that much either. Like there doesn't need to be 3 different Rattatas in a set that are they're not going to be competitive, and also the collectors don't care about them either. Like nobody cares about these 3 Rattatas that are in whatever set. I wonder if that's maybe this is like a trend moving forward. I would like to see it because honestly, just like smaller sets just is like more interesting,
I will
more good
say
cards. It just
this.
kind of feels like there's a lot of like it gets rid of all the bloat in the sets, which feels like it just feels unnecessary because like it's not helping the collectors or the competitors. Obviously, you want like the rarer cards to be pulled less often, but I'm sure they could like mess with the pull rates of stuff or do certain things with certain artworks to like make that still seem super special to pull that certain card.
I will say that the smaller set is definitely good for the collector as well, though, because there's less of the random junk EXs that nobody really cares for very much.
Yeah,
But then also, like when it comes to even like the secret illustration rares, right? Assuming that they don't change anything about the pull rates, right? Like let's look at Destined Rivals. Okay, here you go. For example, If you were to pull a full art from Destined Rivals, you could get Yanmega, Arboliva, Moltres, Ho-Oh, Satitan, Dondozo, Electivire, Mewtwo, Regirock, Garchomp, Nidoking, right? That's a lot. It's a lot of
Yeah.
different cards in like the full art slot. Oh, also
Yeah,
Crobat.
hold on.
Yeah, even more plus the trainers. Like that's before we even get to Secret Illustration rares, dude. There's
But wait.
so many, right?
Yeah.
But if it's a 90 card set, right? And there's let's say
Well, that's before the
it is
full arts, right?
before, but there's less like
There's less things to be full arted.
yes,
What we
there's
would
less
think,
things to be full art.
unless everything is a full everything has a full art in.
Yeah, sure. You're right, buddy. No, but it's like a mainline set. It's not a special
Yeah.
set or anything because we got booster boxes, right?
Yeah.
So
That
it'll
is
be in
interesting.
theory easier to pull like a Charizard of some sort or a
Yeah.
Gengar of some sort, right?
Yeah.
And yes, you'll still pull a Lopunny or a Heracross that you might not be as excited about unless you're a big. I don't think there's many Heracross fans. There's
No.
a concerning amount of Lopunny fans out there, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess we'll have to just wait and see if there's like a trend or a one-off. I wouldn't be surprised for this to be like a one-off thing because it almost felt like when we were like, it's like, oh my gosh, are our set releases syncing up with Japan's for like Obsidian Flames
Yeah.
and whatever the other set was after that. But then because those were like 2 and 3 weeks apart from the Japan releases, and then all of a sudden it went back to the 2 months or whatever. That was such a what's it called? I was so hopeful. It was such a hopeful time or something. I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, but
Timeline.
yeah, and then it just kind of disappeared really quickly.
But I like my thought here probably is just like our Phantasmal Flames is probably literally just like Inferno X with these two theme decks crammed into the actual set. Right? Because that's what these
Yeah.
are in Japan. The Gengar and the Diancie decks. It's like their own thing, right? But so it's probably just this Infernal X crammed in with those two theme decks.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we'll probably go back to like the bigger loaded sets after that. I guess on the on the Japanese side of thing, I guess it feels a little bit less like that, but also like they usually get like 2 Inferno X sets at the same time. So it's basically the same thing, right? And then they get like Inferno X and Inferno Y, and this time it's just Inferno X, but usually they get like 2 sets. They get like what we got for like Black Bolt, White Flare.
Right.
Then it's just the same amount of garbage to interesting ratio. And obviously there needs to be like some filler, but it feels like there's been a lot of filler as of late, or for a while now, and it definitely feels like it doesn't need to be. So I don't know if it's probably not a trend. This is probably just kind of like a one-off kind of thing, but we'll see what they do with the future of the sets. We'll get that information probably before we get Mega Evolutions. So,
well, let's talk about the new cards here because there is quite a lot to look at. Some of these we've already seen, but most of these are going to be new. So we're not going to read the Mega Charizard, but the Charmander and Charmeleon are both new and relevant as well. So Charmander here, nimble for the ability. If this Pokemon has no energy attached to it, its retreat cost is 0. It does have a 2 retreat cost if you have an energy on it, but for all intents and purposes, for the most part, this thing has no retreat. And then it has 80 HP as well, which is huge. And we've got a Charmeleon here, which has 110 HP, a HP boost as well from the Charmeleons that are currently in the format. And then steady fire breathing, 40 damage for 1 energy.
Yeah, so the extra HP on the Charmeleon is interesting for sure. Charmander might be more of like a balancing thing where they don't want you to be able to Buddy Poffin for Charmander because currently in format, we have
now Charmander survives a Halucha ping plus
yeah.
Dragapult, right?
It does survive that.
That's a pretty big deal.
But the trade-off of no Buddy Poffin, like, I don't know. That seems like an
That's
L.
fair.
So, but the thing is though, current format, we do have 70 HP Charmanders, but they do rotate with rotation. So we'll be forced into using the 80 HP Charmander when rotation hits.
Yeah.
We also lose Nest Ball as well. So I'm sure we're gonna come up with some other kind of basic search will exist in the format.
I think we also lose Artisan, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. This Charmander is literally just not searchable. You can't play Charizard when rotation hits. You have to Ultra Ball for your Charmanders. That would feel so bad.
Dude, that's what we had to do forever. And that's why stage 2 decks were really bad for a long time as well.
I could not find the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't like really think about it. There's like a good decent balance right now of like stage 2, stage 1 basic decks overall,
Yeah.
I feel like. Well, is Golden Go the only stage 1 deck? Zoroark?
Yeah,
There's
Zoroark.
a couple different ways to play Golden Go. But yeah, that's like around the Charmeleon. Charmeleon, obviously the ability is broken. Yeah, the Charmeleon is just good. Like 110 HP, 40
Yeah.
for one. Like,
A sick artwork as well.
yeah, was he falling down the mountain or jumping
Looks
off the
like it.
mountain?
Into the smoke, down the volcano.
Yeah,
Charmander's in the he's literally falling down to save the Charmander.
I think Charmander will be okay. I think he's chilling.
He's probably chilling. We got Moltres here, 20 plus. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX, this attack does 90 more damage.
Yeah. So the Moltres is pretty good. Like 1 retreat cost, it 1 hit KOs Grass Ogerpon, a 2 hit KOs Fighting Ogerpon, with a Brave Bangle, it KOs Golden Go. The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't have an attack where you could like load it up and you could use a 1 prizer to KO a 1 prizer. It only does 20 damage and doesn't have like a second attack for like 3 energy or something. So that's like the only thing. It's like you can't use it to KO a Charmander. So you can't like leave a 1 prizer in the active when you KO'd your 1 prizer. You can play like other fire Pokemon, obviously, but it's not like a do-it-all card. It has its like pretty efficient functionality against some EX Pokemon. So yeah, definitely a decently powerful option for fire decks. Also, you could like play this in Golden Go or something like that as well. Put your fire energy on it.
That is true.
Yeah, it could become your cornerstone answer. Also, KOs like Ogerpons up against Raging Bolt and stuff like that.
If you slap a Brave Bengal on this thing, it KOs Golden Goes in the mirror.
Yep.
We got not going to read the Whimsicott. The Weavile is interesting-ish. We got 20 plus. If this Pokemon has 50 HP or less, this attack does 170 more damage. Let me just read all the dark guys real quick.
Yeah.
We got the Mega Sharpedo EX, a 330 HP stage 1. Darkness type Pokemon with Greedy Fangs for 1 dark. You draw 2 cards, 70 damage. And Hungry Jaw, 120 plus. If this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, this attack does 150 more damage. And then the Toxtricity with Bad Upper. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for 1 basic dark energy and attach it to one of your bench dark Pokemon. If you do, put 2 damage counters onto that Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. And then I might as well just go ahead and read the Grimsley's move, because I think it's the idea here is that he goes with these guys.
I would hope not.
That's the idea. That doesn't mean it's what you should do. But that's the idea. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose a dark Pokemon you find there. Put it onto your bench. Shuffle the other cards face down and put them on the bottom of your deck.
Yeah. So there's like a couple of different things going on there. Obviously, Toxtricity synergizes with Sharpedo and Weavile because they both need damage on themselves. Weavile honestly seems pretty weak into any metagame or format where there's a decent amount of spread attackers. Namely, I guess the go-to one would be Dragapult to call out. So that's not great for Weavile. But honestly, like Toxtricity plus Weavile seems like it can stand up against a decent amount of other decks in like the current format. Of course, there is a set between this one and our current format, so we'll have to see how things kind of adjust. But yeah, the Weavile, like as a 1 prize deck, Weavile Toxtricity seems decent. Mega Sharpedo with Toxtricity and probably Monkey Dory doesn't seem terrible. I was kind of like trying to figure out how to make Mega Sharpedo hit harder because 270 is like not great. It's like okay. I mean, you KO a lot of things, but coming up short on stuff like I don't know, the Mega Charizard and Dragapult and all those Pokemon is like you want to be able to have that 1 hit KO potential, but some Monkey Dory damage involved, maybe a maximum belt. You know, you could probably get there.
Defiance Band.
Yeah, Defiance Band. Also, I want to mention the Toxel has a Call for Family attack, which that's pretty good to have in your deck. Call for Family, search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench. That's not bad from the Toxel, so
yeah,
pretty powerful.
Toxel knows what's up. And Toxel and Carvanha do have 70 HP, so you can find them with Buddy Poffin. Can't find Charmander, but we can find Carvanha into Mega Sharpedo.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think this thing seems good. I think the Greedy Fangs 70 draw 2 for 1 energy, like that's
Not
a pretty good part of this card as well. Like because this guy's got 330 HP, you know, so
and free retreat.
I didn't even notice that, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's pretty good too, and that synergizes nicely with the Toxtricity as well. Get a pivot into another Sharpedo or something pretty easily. Some other darkness attacker. Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it's like these cards are meant to be together, but like the Toxtricity. So, I mean, obviously, I think the big comparison here is the single strike Houndoom, right? And this card, like, kind of had a moment, but not really. It was never that good. But the effect is obviously really good, right? Pulling energy from your deck, very powerful effect. But it only worked with single strike energy, and it only worked on single strike Pokemon. This is any
Yeah.
basic darkness energy onto any darkness Pokemon. Like,
Yep.
this is incredible energy acceleration for a pretty reasonable trade-off, like a totally fine trade-off of 2 damage counters. So, like, I think that this card will probably be good at some point in the future with something else as well, even if it's not that good with Mega Sharpedo. But I think this card seems pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the toxicity seems decent for sure. And I think it would, yeah, we'll probably see some play out of it eventually. It pulling from the deck instead of the discard pile is definitely like in the early game, it could be like arguably slightly stronger, but like mid game, late game, you'd rather pull from your discard pile almost every time. So
I
we'll
think
see
pulling from the
how
deck is far stronger than pulling from the discard pile on average.
on average, I don't know about that.
Yeah, dude, imagine Charizard EX pulling the energy from the discard pile instead of from the deck.
Well, that would be worse, but that's different because like it depends how many energy you need. I guess the argument is how many energy do you need? I guess that might be the argument. Because I guess like yeah, if you're actually playing a deck where you just like don't get KO'd very often, I guess maybe this would work a little bit better. Because if you only need like a couple energy, you don't need like
Energy
tons of
Excel from the
streamline.
deck is one of the strongest effects like in the game, period. Basically every way it's ever existed has been good.
I don't know, like would eel, but that's what I'm saying. I think it, like I feel like on average, like something
I
like
think
eels is always
Eel
better.
I think Eel would be a broken card if it pulled from the deck.
When you get down to the late game where you have no energy in your deck.
You
That's what I'm saying,
play a
like
Super Rod.
no, but like if you get Iona or something, you can't find all the like you have an infinite cycle out of your discard pile. Is what I'm saying. Like you never have to worry about having as long as you have a pivot on board. Like I guess it'd be the same thing either way. You never have to worry about like running out of energy. I guess you would build the deck differently as well if you were pulling from the deck. That is interesting. I've always thought that like taking from the discard pile has always been stronger, except like early game, because then you don't need an extra combo to actually get access to extra energy per turn because it comes from the deck. But like mid, I guess if you just have it, but you, yeah, I guess
But
you
you
don't
also
need to
could
play
just
that many
play
energy.
a lot of energy as
You could just play
well,
more
right?
energy. That's
Yeah.
true.
I don't know. I feel I'm
I could see
pretty
it.
yeah, I feel pretty strongly that like pulling from the deck on average is definitely better than pulling from the discard pile. But I mean, both effects are obvious. Anything that lets you attach more energy
Yeah.
is good
It
in
does like
some.
I guess when you're pulling from the deck, it lets you play less energy to be honest, because you don't need as many energy to find them and get them in the discard
Yeah,
pile.
how many energy do people
Tools.
play in their Charizard deck, bro? Like,
Yeah, yeah. It does let you play that much less. So I guess Toxtricity would let you play probably like 8 basic dark energy total or something like that, maybe.
maybe less. Who knows?
I could see it.
You do need more with something like Toxtricity compared to Charizard, right? Part of what makes Charizard so good, it's all in one. It does it itself, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's the guy that's the attacker and the energy excel. This, you're going to need a Toxtricity, and you're going to need to find a Mega Sharpedo, and you're not going to have Nest Ball and Artisan to find your guys. So
I'm sure they'll give us something though. They'll give us some way to
we
find the
haven't seen it
squad.
yet. So
But they'll give it to us with the base set. It'll be like because I feel like there's usually a lot of support cards in base.
when I started playing, what you no, dude, don't we do we not know everything in Mega Evolution yet?
No, no, no. I'm saying with like
Oh,
oh, wait, is
the next
this?
generation.
Yeah, I was saying with the next generation. Yeah,
But
yeah,
this is the
yeah.
start of a new block.
Oh, so this is gonna be interesting. So this will be our. We're not getting like another Scarlet and Violet anytime soon.
Yeah, we are not getting another Scarlet and Violet ever.
Well, no, no, no. But like, what Scarlet and Violet was. I thought Mega Evolution was gonna be around here for like
Oh,
4 sets, and then we're gonna get like a. Or is Mega Evolution gonna be like 12 sets?
I don't know if it's gonna be 12 sets. That would be a lot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think on the next.
Well, so it's an
But it'll
interesting
last till
conversation.
rotation, right? It'll go up till rotation, I guess, right?
Well, it'll go up until the next mainline Pokemon game comes out, right?
Which
And
do we know when that is?
no, and that's the interesting thing based on like the cycle of how things traditionally have worked. Let me do like Pokemon video game release dates. Um okay. So like we had oh, this is like way too much stuff in a list. Mainline series games. We had it's been kind of like a trend. Here, this is a good way to break it down right here on the side. Um, for the last several generations, where it's like the Diamond and Pearl games come out. And then we
Yeah.
have like the Diamond and Pearl block of cards, and then the Platinum comes out kind of at the end of this, and we have all
It's like
that.
it's every 3 years
And
as
then
well.
yeah, exactly. It goes 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. But now we're coming to the end of the 3 years, and there's no new game on the horizon, but we're getting Pokemon Legends ZA, which is like kind of their new big game, and it is a mainline story game as well.
Yeah.
It's like interjected itself as uh a like stopping point almost. I don't know. And it kind of is similar to like
Arceus
the
Legends.
TCG cards. It's kind of like the Heart Gold Soul Silver era, right? Where it was like
Yeah.
just for a short amount of time. But with the way the game release schedule has been going, maybe it'll be for a longer amount of time. Who knows?
Mm, interesting. So we
Maybe it
kinda
will be
don't
like
know.
it might not be a full 12 sets. Maybe it'll be 8 sets. Maybe it'll be 2 years as opposed to 3 years of Mega Evolution. Maybe it will be just the 1 year. But traditionally, these games have released around the holidays, around Christmas time,
Maybe next
usually
year.
like November or something like that. So if a new mainline Pokemon game comes out next November, we would probably get the base set for the TCG in like February or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be like the normal time because I feel like that's usually when the new block begins is the January or the February set.
Right. And so that would mean
Um,
we would get like
I guess it's been like March, April the last couple.
we would get like uh 5 or 6 Mega Evolution sets.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, yeah, I didn't really know how things were lining up. I was under kind of the assumption that our which we don't know what we're getting in March yet, but I guess it is going to be a Mega Evolution set probably, right? In March. We're definitely going to get a Mega Evolution set in March.
I
But
would
that would be
assume
like
so.
I guess that'd be the last point for them to
Well, there
that
it's
set
not
that comes out with rotation would be the point for them to give us more consistency cards to make up for what we're losing.
yeah.
To replace the Nest Balls and the Artisans. And I mean, yeah, only having Poffin and Ultra Ball, I don't know about that. I guess we'll see. But
Well, when I started playing the game in like 2015, 2016,
what do we
the only
have?
search card in the game was Ultra Ball. That was it.
Hmm.
You were playing 4
I
Ultra
mean that
Ball.
that would be a way to slow things down and maybe make something like because like the
Well,
way it makes
what
something
d-
like go ahead.
what decks were good when I started playing in 2015, 2016?
I don't know. You tell me. Megas.
It was all megas
Is
or big basic Pokemon.
maybe that's the way they're going to try and like slow down. They want to slow down the game around megas is like make everything less consistent. So you just aren't doing as much as frequently. I guess that could be something, right? Maybe that's going to be the approach. I just have to see. Yeah, they'll have one like final set to like kind of pick that or show us their plan one before rotation hits when that set releases. So it'll be interesting to see what they put in there. Yeah, I guess I was just kind of thinking about things differently, but now that we kind of like are talking about so we're gonna have the special set in January and then the March April rotation set, and that'll be it. And then rotation hits with that set. So we'll have two more one main set, one non main set before it happens.
We've got a couple fire support trainer cards. We got Heat Burner. You must discard 1 basic fire energy from your hand in order to play this card. Choose a Pokemon tool, special energy, or stadium card that your opponent has in play and discard it. And then Fire Breather. Search your deck for 7 basic fire energy cards and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your deck.
Yeah. So initially I thought Fire Breather sucked, but I thought Oricorio could accelerate 1 energy a turn from your first I thought it was from the discard pile, and then I thought it was from the hand, but I thought it was 1.
Wow,
But
so
it
you just like
is
really did not read this card, huh?
yeah, I just didn't. I read it twice, but somehow came away from both times reading it not knowing what the card did. But it is as
Like not
often as
even
you like.
close.
Yeah,
Like
as often as you like during your turn, you can accelerate any. If you have any Fire Mega Evolution Pokemon EX in play, attach a basic Fire Energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon, one of your benched Fire Pokemon.
oh my gosh.
So Fire Breather, like I don't know. The thing is, like it's not super situational, but it's so bad. Like turn
Yeah.
1, you don't want Fire Breather. Turn
Nope.
2, you don't want Fire Breather. But once you are set up, that is like a huge like boost into play of like power. So
I mean, it
maybe
basically lets you like if you are set up, if you have a Mega Charizard and an Oricorio
you already have
and you
some
have
energy.
Fire Breather,
Yeah.
you can KO anything in the game.
And then still have extra energy for like the next.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see if the Fire Breather makes sense in the deck. You can't really find it that easily, right? Unless you like played a really heavy count. But if like I said, early game, mid game, it doesn't seem that great. Or early game, it doesn't seem that great. And then finding it when you need it of course, before rotation hits. So honestly, a lot of things with Charizard are kind of weird because like it has so many powerful options before rotation. Vessel, Superior Energy Retrieval both rotate, but we'll have them for a little while. Those might just be better than the Fire Breather. But then once rotation hits, I could see Fire Breather being the way to go. But I could also see it being the way to go before rotation, to be honest. Because I just didn't understand how Oricorio works. It's like, I'm going to play Fire Breather to get 7 energy and attach 2 of them with 2 Oricorios. And my opponent Ionos the rest of the bottom of the deck. It seems terrible. But it's a little bit better than that. You can put all 7 in play and then kind of go from there. So, yeah, the card definitely has way more synergy with the Mega Charizard Oricorio combo than I initially thought. But I'm not blown away by the card at all. A lot of people have been bringing up about putting it with Golden Go. I don't think it makes a ton of sense with Golden Go. You'd have to play like 4 to use one game. That seems like not very good. I think ESP is still going to be the way to go. But the Fireburner, I usually am not a huge fan of kind of do-it-all cards, but I'd like, super limited by the fact that you have to discard the basic fire energy and there's a requirement. So I think it's just a good card. It's like, but it's not like a field blower style card where it's a do everything card at like a super high efficiency. So yeah, Fireburner, good card.
Yeah, I think it seems good for sure. Like, yeah, once you have your board set up, like it gets you everything. It sets you up for what you need in the next turn as well. So it's like Oricorio can go down. Like it doesn't even give your opponent the option to like take your acceleration out of play, right? The only other thing about it I will mention is like you got to be mindful of like how many like I could have seen like the way people were maybe going to build this deck initially. Like you maybe wouldn't even you would have like around 7-8 energy, something like that,
Yeah.
right? The value of a card that pulls that many energy out of your deck goes down the less you play. So it's like, but maybe after rotation, when there's less ways to like find energy with your item cards,
You play
you
4
play
Fire
more.
Breather to use it once. Still, maybe, yeah.
Honestly,
Maybe you get like a use and a half, right? If you play like 12, you get 7 into 4 or something.
This card really wants there to be like a Lele or something in the format,
Yeah, like you get your one of Fire Breather out of your deck when it makes sense.
Yeah, maybe it's for
What,
the
what
short
about
time they're together, you get quick search plus
what's the bird? Stage 1 bird? Pelipper?
Pelipper. Did he cook? No, that guy rotates too, though.
Sorry, we can use him before rotation to find our Fire Breather.
Pelipper.
Pelipper Charizard.
Hey, I played literally that deck in the Evolution series. There was no Fire Breather, though.
Yeah.
And then my Pelippers kept getting stuck, bro. You would bring them up every turn. It was so mean.
For the Grimsley's move, like you said, it does. Maybe it works with Gengar. Like I think the idea with this is definitely, and there's Academy at Night, the stadium card, which puts a card from your hand on top of your deck, so that increases your like chance of making Grimsley hit what you want it to hit. But it just seems so weak. Like, what if you whiff? Like getting Mega Gengar EX off Grimsley seems kind of cool, but you also need to have like threats on board, right? You have to have something built up to be able to start attacking with.
I'm waiting for someone to try this with Charizard EX and put their Charizard EX onto their bench and then be really sad when they don't get to accelerate any energy.
Or play Grimsley with Grimmsnarl. I mean, there's like the name synergy is there, so I feel like you gotta at least try, make sure it's bad, but it definitely is bad. So yeah, well, like, because like this was like the stage 1s. It's like, are you really gonna like what if you just hit a Toxel? Like you could have played research for a turn, and instead you played Grimsley's move and you hit a Toxel when you could have just researched into a Buddy Poffin or something,
or into the Toxel that you just hit off
into
of
the Toxel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure about this card. Like maybe there's like some other stage 2s I'm not really thinking about. Mega Gengar EX seems like the one that it synergizes with best, of course, but I don't know what else you'd play alongside it. That's kind of where I'm stuck. Is like
it's a very risky card.
Yeah. High risk, high reward, but like, is the payoff literally ever worth it? I'm not sure. It would be really cool if this card does work better than I'm making it out to be. That'd be sick. Being able to play a game through this card just sounds kind of cool, but I just don't see it.
I just know that at some regionals in the future, Grant Manley's going to play against someone who's playing Grimsley's move, and they're going to play it and put 2 Mega Sharpedo and 3 Toxtricity into play off their 1 Grimsley's and win the game on the spot.
It only gets 1 Pokemon.
Oh, this card sucks.
You thought I got multiple?
Yeah, I thought you could get
okay, if you could get multiple, honestly, it would maybe be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just like I thought Oricorio was.
Yeah, but see, it took you 2 times of reading a good card to not know what it did. I skimmed a bad card and assumed I knew what it did, and it was way worse than I thought I knew what it did.
We don't know how many times it would have taken you though. I had to
True.
correct you there.
True.
But
True.
yeah, yeah. That then actually, you know what? Then there might have been something if it took any, but you get to choose a dark Pokemon you find there. And for anyone who's like, you can take stage ones, you can take stage twos, put them directly on your bench, but the cost does not seem. I think I'm just gonna play a research and draw 7 and candy into
Yeah.
my Mega Gengar EX. We'll see though. I would love it if Grimsley was good. Like I'm gonna make that clear as well. I want it to be good. Just like I don't think it will be. There's always the future though. We're gonna get more dark Pokemon, right? They're not gonna stop printing dark Pokemon as well.
All right. Well, let's roll on to our next topic here, which is going to be about the documentary that was recently put out on YouTube by our friend Andrew Mahone, Tricky Jim. And it is a really unique video in the Pokemon TCG space, something that like not really anyone has done before. A very
Yeah.
uh you could say it's a big lore drop for the Pokemon TCG for sure. Lots of people playing don't even know who this guy is, but anyone who's been around the game for probably over 5 years, you've heard this guy's name at least once, even though he hasn't played in a long time. And it's a documentary style video on Gino Lombardi. The title of the video, Pokemon's Banned National Champion, the story of Gino Lombardi. So before we get into anything further, just definitely want to say congrats to Mahone on getting this out. I know it's like something he's worked really hard on for a long time. You can tell that he put a lot of effort and work into this. And I mean, it's such a cool, like, especially the very beginning, seeing so many uh like lore references to like the history of the game, like these clips and footage from past tournaments, pictures from old world championships. um Definitely very much worth the watch if you're a part of the Pokemon TCG community, like for sure.
It's really funny that you say that. Yeah, there's like so many people who have no idea who this is, and honestly, being the U.S. national champion is kind of cursed. I don't know how many U.S. national champions have been banned, but it's like
Yeah.
it's a pretty high number over like in comparison to how many there were before ICs took over. To be honest, so might be a cursed tournament. Um, but yeah, really cool video from Mahone. It's cool to see this kind of content in the space. There's been people who've done like documentary style videos on like moments in the TCG, but not something quite to this level. You know, picking out a player who was like like one of the most known players back in the day. Um, kind of just telling his story from his about his departure from the game, getting banned from the game, and kind of where he's at now. And I saw that he was at a league challenge over the weekend, so he's definitely back. He was unbanned, um, and he's back. He played in the league challenge this weekend, so he looks like he is going to be trying to play again, for sure.
Yeah, so if you want to watch this yourself before you hear us talk about it, which I very much encourage you to do, we'll have a link to it in the description to make sure you go watch it. But yeah, Azul do, and I mean, any Pokemon group chat that exists out there where there are people who've been playing the game for like 10 plus years in that group chat, they have been talking about this video the last like 2 days for sure. You know, like this is
Yeah.
a big deal in the old head Pokemon TCG community, like outside of even just like getting this information out there for people who had no idea that it existed. So encourage everyone to watch it for sure. But yeah, Azul and I are going to kind of give our thoughts on everything that was transpired here and our kind of history and predisposition to who uh Gino is. So I started playing in 2015, and Gino was banned already, had been banned for a couple years. But the more I got into the game, like stories about this guy came up tons of times over the years of me playing the game. Like I've heard from so many people mostly bad stuff about Gino, to be honest, about cheating and the famous. I think my first story, my first lore drop instance with it was the Mises laptop situation, um where his laptop was stolen from the Pan Pacific Hotel at Worlds in 2013. But you did play at the same time as Gino, and you actually played in the same area as Gino as well. So you
Yeah.
are very familiar with Gino, right?
Yeah, I actually beat him. But the first regional I won, I beat Gino in the finals of that regional championship. And yeah, obviously, like a lot of the he, I mean, if you watch the video, like he definitely stole some stuff. A lot of people claim that he was a cheater. I mean, I can't say I ever saw him cheat firsthand, so I can't say 100% that he cheated back in the day. I mean, just based on the allegations, it seems like it was a decently likely for sure. And he was, yeah. I mean, I was around him, at local tournaments, cities, and battle roads and regionals. And it was, um, what was I gonna say? I never got like the impression, like being around him, like he was a fairly charismatic dude for sure. So I never got the impression that he was like a terrible, terrible guy or anything like that. But I mean, there's a lot of he definitely did some pretty bad stuff. And whether or not he is a new person, um, it just kind of has to remain to be seen. Like, does he deserve to be in the Pokemon community? I don't know. I can't say for sure on that. We'll have to
Yeah.
see what he does and how he acts moving forward from here. You can always I can only wish that I can only hope that he is, and he'll change his ways. But I mean, only time will tell. I guess you can make the argument: should Pokemon uh have unbanned him? That would be a discussion that's like worth having. I am like a pretty big believer in second chances for the most part in life, obviously to an extent. Like this kind of feels like his third chance, though, to be honest, because like if uh if anyone was caught on video stealing someone's computer at a Pokemon event in the current day and age, they would be 100% permabanned, like without a question, I think. Whereas back then, that happened. It only led to him being put on probation, basically, and then being banned the following season at the first regional of the season in 2014, the Philadelphia Regional Championships. He got banned for cheating at that tournament. So I guess is whether or not he cheated. He definitely cheated at that tournament for sure. Then I guess like there was
Yeah.
that incident at the very least, and it's a pretty high likelihood that there was other instances throughout the years. So this is kind of his third chance. We'll see if he ends up making the most of it.
Yeah, so like I said, like my pre uh like my exposure to this guy has basically almost exclusively been negative, like people's opinions of him. So uh I came into watching this video like wanting to come away because I knew like that he was getting unbanned, right? Like I had heard that that was going to be happening, and so and it seemed like I knew like this video was being made, right? And like it seemed like I he's like turning over a new leaf, starting a new chapter in his life, and I definitely like uh hope that for him, right? And I want like I very much believe in second chances, and and like I definitely very much believe as well like nobody is past the potential of reform as well, right? But I just had a hard time at the end of this video here because I had always heard this bad stuff about this guy. I was expecting this point in the middle of the video where Andrew talks to him and asks him, "Did you ever cheat?" I was expecting a like come clean moment, you know?
Yeah,
And he says, "No, I never cheated."
yeah,
And that just like surprised me. And I see I wasn't there. I only know what people have told me, right? So it's entirely possible, right, that what he's saying is true. He gave his perspective, his side of the story. But I just had a hard time coming to the end of the video and being ready to root for him because I didn't have like I would have been much more on board if I had heard the like come clean. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And that never happened. That never happened. Um, but that doesn't mean like because I just don't know, right? It's very possible that he did never cheat. Like but based on the things I've heard, I just have a hard time accepting that, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely tough. I mean, like I said, like I heard all the same things. I played in the same area as him for a long time. Like I said, like whenever I played locally and he was at the events, I never saw him cheat specifically. I don't remember him ever getting like DQ'd or like banned from any stores or anything like that, as far as I can remember. Um, and then, I mean, there's other stories about him, and I feel like there's a lot of people in the Pokemon community have been having opinions and like shedding, not shedding light on, but like bringing forth their own stories or experiences with Gino or what they think of him from people who have like experience being around him in the past on Twitter. There's a lot of that going on right now.
Yeah.
But and one of the stories in the video was from Ray Cipoletti, who's been a long time player in the community. He's recently just kind of come back the last couple of years. And he talked about how Gino didn't like pay him back after an event for like I think a hotel room and some other stuff maybe. And that I mean like Gino, we didn't get to hear like Gino say anything about that either as well. So um I think there definitely is like a what's it called to that in the video where it doesn't feel like Gino came clean on everything. I mean, obviously the MacBook was brought up and discussed and that, and then like he had the end moment there where he kind of met up with Mies, um, and stuff like that. But there's definitely a lot that there's still a lot of question marks around like his behaviors in the past
Yeah.
and how much what I mean, guess what there's like to expect from him like moving forward,
Sure.
being back in the game.
And they say time heals all wounds, and it has been 12 years, right, that this
A
guy
long
has been
time.
banned. That is a
That is a
very,
long bit.
very long time.
It's definitely probably
So,
the longest ban that's ever led to an unban. I would assume. I don't think there's ever been a ban that has gone on that long that has eventually resulted in being
yeah.
unbanned.
I mean, and
Well,
this was a very
honestly,
cool moment for sure, right? Like, that Gino would do this. So, I mean, that I mean, if nothing else, like that fact that he made this situation right at least was admirable, I would say.
yeah, it's a start. It's a start for sure. I mean, but we'll have to see how he conducts himself in the community. Like I said, you can only hope for the best from someone. Like he's here now. He's playing in the game. Like I don't know, do we want him to just like
Yeah.
show up and cheat at the first event and get banned again, or do we want him to like be a stand-up figure of the community? I guess you could like make an argument for one way or the other depending on how you feel about it and your perspective of him. I always hope for the best for most people. Like I hope that everyone could be a stand-up citizen or human in society. So hopefully that's his genuine intentions.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, congrats again to Andrew on like all the hard work that went into this, and it seems like the video is doing very well to start things off.
Yeah.
I actually listened to the tag team podcast last week, and Andrew was talking about this coming out, and like the last couple things he was doing to work on it and stuff. Um, and yeah, I mean, you can just tell like how much work he put into it. So yeah, I'm excited, happy for him putting this out, and it actually makes me excited as well to see like the potential of what other type of stories he'll try to cover in the future. This is not something people have done in the Pokemon TCG before. So
Yeah, first time to ever see something like this. Hopefully he keeps doing it. Hopefully there's definitely gonna be like some backlash for doing it for sure, and the figure that Gino is. But hopefully that doesn't dissuade him from pursuing projects like this further because it's like it's definitely worth it. Like it's a lot of time and effort. Like I don't think Mahone is coming out like like even when the video's all said and done a couple years from now, probably because this will be viewed for a long time. Like
yeah,
probably monetarily not coming out ahead on this kind of thing, but like the amount of value this brings to like the community in the long term is like super high. So there's definitely gonna be some backlash towards the video being made and Mahone in general to some extent. But I hope it doesn't dissuade him from doing more stuff like this in the future because, like I said, it's super good to have this kind of stuff. The history of the game being documented in this way is super cool.
yeah, and I'd say the overall, like most of the reaction online, like if you look at the quote retweets, right? I mean, it's overall pretty positive, I would say.
Yeah, and I think
Um,
a lot of people are. I would say with that as well. Like people are, um, yeah. Most people are positive with the idea that like just having this kind of stuff around is like cool. The idea of making something like this is just kind of cool. A lot of people are just kind of like of that mindset. It seems like not so much like picking one side or another on whether or not
yeah,
Gino is being genuine with his what is the word I'm looking for? Intentions or anything like that. But yeah, which is like the good thing. I think it's definitely like a good thing to have this stuff in the community being made, just cool documentaries on the history of the Pokemon TCG. Like I think you mentioned to me specifically like all of the like there's so many pictures from like old worlds from like 2000 I don't know like 5 or 2006 to 2010 that like were big throwback moments, which is kind of cool to see.
well, do you know what Mahone did?
Yeah.
He found the guy who was like the unofficial photographer, basically, like the official, unofficial photographer at all of these events.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and, like, he used to apparently have a website that hosted all of these pictures, but he didn't, like, keep up the domain, like, it was too expensive, whatever. So but he just, like, has all these pictures. So Andrew found this guy, reached out to him, and asked him if he'd be willing to, like, share these pictures, with the community, and he said, "Yeah," and basically what Andrew did is sent him, like, a terabyte hard drive for this guy over the because it was all stored on, like, CDs. Like, this guy had to, like, from an old computer with a CD drive, like, pull the files into the hard drive, right, and go through it all, and Andrew said he got sent I think the number he said was, I wanna say, like, 45,000 pictures
Sheesh. Oh, he sent him
from he
everything.
sent him
Yeah,
everything.
I guess that's a better way to do it. The guy probably doesn't wanna go through and just find all the pictures of Gino and send 'em
Yeah, yeah.
over.
Well, I
But
don't
there's a
think
lot of
Mahone
other
wanted it
pictures.
he didn't want
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just for that, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. There are a lot of other pictures on there as well that were just like shots from the events. But yeah, those are cool. Honestly, the pictures honestly is like the throwback of the events. And those are like a lot of those events were like before I started playing as well. I started playing in 2009, 2010. So
Yeah. And it
that was
sounded
kind of cool to
like
see.
Mahone intends to, like, have them posted online somewhere at some point, so I look forward to when he gets that happening to, like, go through and take a look and see all that stuff, so that's very cool. So, yeah, I mean, that's just another example of, like, the, diligence and effort that Mahone put into this, right? That he went out of his way, found this guy, and, um, put in that effort of, like, sending him a hard drive to, like, make it all happen is super sick, so
Definitely.
yeah, congrats to Mahone, and I mean, I hope the best for Gino as well. Like, would love for there to be like a great finish to like, but I feel like we're just seeing the beginning of the redemption arc, right?
If there is one, yeah.
If there is one, sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
So
like I said, I hope for the best. Like, I want everyone to be, end up being a stand-up citizen in the in the not in the community, but like in society. But he's obviously done some pretty bad things in the past. He's given, like I said, it kind of feels like he's given a third chance here because the probation he was put on post Vancouver Worlds probably should have been a ban. Then he eventually got banned later. So it's like strike one, strike two. This is kind of like the third chance here. Like I said, we'll see if he makes the most of it. Like I hope, just yeah, I hope he does. But yeah, just gonna have to wait and see.
all right, Azul, well, it is time for us to get on to everyone's favorite segment, Guess That Flavor Text. But before we do, we have to take a moment to thank our fantastic sponsor, Dragon Shield, for supporting us here at the Uncommon Energy Podcast. And Dragon Shield has some exciting brand new colors to take a look at. We actually mentioned these last week, I believe, but they are now officially out. The Gooseberry and Blossom Pastel Duels out now, and we're going to have links in the description if you want to pick these up, that you can just get linked right to them. And if you use our links and use our code UEPOD, you'll save yourself 5% and then also directly support us here at the Uncommon Energy Podcast. This is what I know you got hooked up with some of these sleeves. Have you busted them out yet, or are you saving them for a future tournament?
No, I actually really like this. I don't know, what do you even call this like style of color where it's like a super light version of a shade or whatever. So I'm
It's
a big fan of these colors. Pastel.
yes.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of these colors, but they are the dual mats. I personally love the matte sleeves. Like I'm a huge fan of the Dragon Shield mats. They just feel better than any other sleeve. So I probably will not be using the dual mats. Unfortunately, it makes me jealous though that they are only in dual mats and not in the matte color because I like the colors a lot. Um, but they are in the dual mats. So I'll probably, I'll probably sleeve up some of my cards to put in the binders or something with the packs they send me. Maybe I'll give them away on a stream at some point or something like that. But yeah, big fan of the new color drops, the gooseberry and the what's that one? Blossom. Big fan of the colors for sure. So if you're not as picky as me, or you prefer the dual mats, because I know there's some people out there prefer the dual mats over the mats, definitely go check them out and pick some up.
Or they can make good sleeves for us to use on the second channel
True.
for a
On the second
video.
channel,
So there we go.
bring them
Yeah.
with.
Shout outs to Dragon Shield as always, and thanks so much for the support. Use our code UEPOD, get yourself 5% off and support us here. Now it is time for Guess That Flavor Text, where each week Azul or I will pick a card, read the flavor text from it, and have the other host try to guess which Pokemon is featured on that card. Would you keep score? And there are lifelines. The lifelines are what set the card is from, what stage the card is, and read an attack name. Azul was unable to correctly guess Magmar last week, and I am maintaining my 38-33 lead. And I'm looking to lock up some points here this week. Azul, I'm ready.
All right, Chip. Although the leaves on its head are bitter enough to cause dizziness, they provide relief from weariness, even more so when boiled.
All right, let's hear it again.
Although the leaves on its head are bitter enough to cause dizziness, they provide relief from weariness, even more so when boiled.
All right, so one of my first thoughts is Gloom, but it doesn't really have leaves. The first thing, when all I heard was the leaves on its head, my first thought immediately was Bayleaf. But the more you said it, I don't think it's Bayleaf. I could see it being like a Gloom, but it doesn't. No, it's a leaf, right? It's like Gloom is much more of like a flower. It's a flower petal. So like could be some tree Pokemon. It also could be something that like, I mean, it's just got to be a grass Pokemon, right? There's no way that this is something else that's like has some leaf-like thing on its everything. It's got to be a grass Pokemon. Like it for sure has to be grass. I'm wondering, could it be like talking about like the bitterness? Um, I'm wondering if it could be like
I think it's like bitter in life. Like if you
no,
interact with
no,
it, it just
no,
comes
but
off as being a
like
bitter
what's it called?
Pokemon.
Poltergeist, right? But I don't think it has leaves on its head. It is a grass type. Let me go with what set the card is from to start with.
It is from Guardians Rising.
Ooh, okay. I actually opened up a full case of Guardians Rising when that set came out. So
Mm.
I feel like I know a lot of the Pokemon in the set, and there is
Dude, how long ago was that?
2017.
Yeah, why would that matter? That
Dude,
should
it's one
not
of the
matter.
best Pokemon sets of all
Oh
time.
my gosh. It should not matter if you opened a set back in 2017 to
Dude, I
affect
opened up
the
a case. No, no, no.
case,
Sorry.
whatever.
Sorry. I opened up 30 boxes. That's 6 cases. I opened up or
Oh
5
my
cases. I opened up
gosh.
5 cases. Yeah.
Why? Well, you just had them? You were just like,
Bro, I was wheeling and dealing. I was trying to get those Lele's and sell them for 50 bucks a piece.
so you're trying to sell the singles.
Yeah, I don't know that I came out ahead. No, honestly, I definitely came out ahead because that was at a time where bulk was like 7 cents a card or something ridiculous like that.
Dude, those times are crazy, to be honest.
Yeah. Um so I mean there's a Victory Bell in that set. Victory
Right.
Bell's got leaves on its head. You could be going on theme with the recent Mega Evolution reveal. Also, that Victory Bell is the one that's in the cube, so you should know better if to pick than to pick something that's in the cube. There's also a Trevenant in that set. Trevenant's got leaves, but I don't really think about its leaves as necessarily being bitter. Let me hear the flavor text one more time.
Although the leaves on its head are bitter enough to cause dizziness, they provide relief from weariness, even more so when boiled.
What? Let me have you read an attack name.
Blot.
Blot.
Yeah.
Is it just the Weeping Bell? Not the Victory Bell, but the Weeping Bell. Weeping Bell's got it's got one leaf on its head. What are the other grass types? Blot. I got a feeling. Gosh, what is the Trevenant's? I know what its attack does. Is its second attack blot? The first attack is the one where it's like your opponent reveals their hand and you do more damage for each trainer card they have there. People were playing their like Trevenant Garbodor decks. It's like you play your items Garbodor. If you don't play your items, Trevenant. Genius, right?
Wait, I don't remember that. Was that a thing?
No, but like
Oh.
yeah, like people talked about it. It wasn't good. It
Actually,
wasn't...
I remember someone did they end up topping? Maybe they lost their winning in to expanded regionals. They had Trevenant and Garbodor in the same deck.
Mm. I kind of just want to say Weeping Bell. I don't think that. Yeah, I mean the Victory Bell does not have those attacks because I know it's the one in the cube. I don't remember its attack names, but I know it's not Blot. I'm just worried it could be the Trevenant. And if I ask you what stage the card is and you tell me it's a stage 1, it's not going to narrow it down between Trevenant and Victory Bell or Weeping Bell. I'm just going to go with Weeping Bell and hope that's accurate. Let's lock it in. Try for 2 points here. If I got it right or wrong, give me the last lifeline as well first.
Weeping Bell?
Yeah, I'm locking it in. Weeping Bell.
It is not Weeping Bell.
Bro, I said give me the last lifeline first.
Oh,
For
shoot.
the people playing along at home.
Oh, okay. Before
It's okay.
Oh, wait, why does it matter the order that you wanted me to do it in that order?
I wanted
Last
you to...
lifeline
Yeah.
is... Well, I can still give the lifeline before I say what it is.
Yeah, but they know... What if they wanted to lock in Weeping Bell too?
Well, they would have already known at this point. You got it wrong as well. It's a basic.
Okay. Is it the... Oh,
No,
does
it is
the...
not. You're
the
never...
Bell
I think
Sprout?
at this point you're never going to guess it, to be honest.
Okay.
Because nobody knows it. No one cares about this Pokemon.
Oh.
It is...
Wait.
I'm waiting.
I know. I'm thinking... All right, just tell me. I'm going to be annoyed.
Petalil.
Petalil. Man, maybe it being a set I recognized worked against me here.
Yeah. Who the heck would look at the Petalil twice? The blot one.
I can't even picture this guy. What is...
Is it just me?
I can picture this one. I think this was in a theme deck, actually.
You cannot picture that one. Go back to the
Petalil,
Petalil,
this was in a theme deck. I think.
I think I would recognize it if it was in a theme deck. I'm not gonna lie. Dude, doesn't the 50 HP look like it was photoshopped? It's just because it's smaller. Doesn't it kind of?
I think that's how the cards were.
Yeah,
I
didn't realize that, but I looked at some of the other ones. Like I looked at the Lilligant, and it's like
here's all the other cards I mentioned. There's the Trevenant.
Why does everyone have small HP? Why is everyone's HP small?
Don't judge.
But like the attack damage numbers are like bigger, right? Or am I trolling?
Bro, Weeping Bell's leaves aren't even on its head, man. It's on its freaking arms.
Well, isn't its whole thing its head?
That's true. I guess that's fair.
Weeping Bell's all head. Yeah, I don't know. And the Petalil, I don't think you're ever getting Petalil, to be honest.
Nah.
No
I can picture the Lilligant, though. I can't picture the Petalil.
You cannot picture the Lilligant, bro.
I swear this thing was in a theme deck. I'm gonna...
Okay, which one would have... What is it? So this dude, I don't think... like I said, I think I would have...
We literally played these... Oh, wait, no, we didn't. We have these theme decks for a video soon. All right, that's a Psychic Fire deck. Steel Sun is a Psychic Metal deck. Okay. Dude, what do I recognize this from? It was in something. Trust. Someone let me know. What was this in?
He's lying. Wasn't in anything.
I could be lying, to be honest. All right, Azul. Well, 0 points once again. Unfortunately. Yeah, Petalil, I was not getting there. But I will try again in a couple weeks. And I don't have anything to worry about because you're not catching up anytime soon.
Yeah, probably not.
All right. Well, let's talk about this last topic this week, which was the announcement that open deck lists could be coming to future Pokemon tournaments. So there was sorry, I was just adjusting my thing. There was a update on the Pokemon website that there was more information dropped around the 2026 season. There was a new tournament added, a couple new tournaments actually, but the big one for the US at least was Seattle Regionals is coming back for the first time since like 2017, maybe was the last Seattle Regionals. Does that sound right to you?
It's the Garbodor era. It was the one that Sam Chen got to Sam Chen won with when everyone was playing Garbodor.
Yeah.
It was like a sickening amount of day 2 was Garbodor decks.
Yeah, this is like an infamous tournament in Pokemon TCG lore. Did you go to this event?
No, and I'm glad I did it. I remember saying that after the event happened. I was like, I'm glad I did not go to that tournament because I had no idea what I was gonna play. And there's Sosa with his Lapras deck.
Yeah. I remember that one of the big stories from this event was Sam and Brad Curcio, who got top 4 at this tournament. They hit each other round 1 and played their like first game, their second game, and like they didn't even set up for game 3, I think it was. Actually, I wonder if they even played a game, to be honest. But I know the big story was that they accepted a tie in their game and sat there at the table and figured out how to play the Garbodor mirror together. And Brad got top 4, Sam got first.
They just grinded mid-event instead.
Because they figured out that, or they realized maybe that this was going to be the deck of the tournament. That this deck was like, I mean, it was hyped up before the tournament that it was going to be really good, but it was like in reality, like, oh wow, this deck is like it took people a long time to adjust to Garbodor coming out.
Yeah, definitely. It took a little while. People started adjusting their deck lists. But I mean, Garbodor was still one of the best decks. I mean, Tord won NAIC that year with Drampa Garb. So yeah, still by far one of the best decks, despite the adjustments. But yeah, the meta got better. This was not it the whole time.
Oh yeah, this is looked back on as one of the best metas of the modern era, of the international era.
Definitely, yeah.
Do you think we'll have more than 404 players at this next Seattle Regionals?
Yes, definitely, almost 100%. Actually, but because that's kind of make me question. Seattle's a little bit more easier to get to than Vancouver. I was gonna say, how many players did we have at our last Vancouver regionals?
Yeah, it'll definitely be more traveled to than Vancouver this last year, I would say. But last Vancouver had 1,300.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that was way more. What was the one before that? That one was like 700, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, even then, Seattle is likely to get more players.
Vancouver's just always one of the smallest ones. It was just under 1,000.
Yeah. I'll probably go to. That's pretty close to me, so I'll probably go. I've never been to Seattle before as well, so.
Yeah, actually, Brooke and I I guess it was a couple years ago, whenever there was Portland regionals, we took a extended trip. She came with me to the tournament, and then we stayed later and drove up to Seattle and drove like up through Oregon and Seattle, which was super, super cool, and stopped along the way at like some different places like Astoria, which is a really cool town. We went and saw where the Goonies was filmed, which is like one of my favorite movies from my childhood, which is there in Washington. And yeah, ended up going to Seattle for a couple days and did a couple fun things there too. So yeah, it's a fun city, I would say. There's a lot of cool stuff to do, like kind of outside the city. Some like waterfalls and huge forests and stuff. Mount Rainier is not too far away, so maybe this year I'll try to make an effort out there. But I guess it will be February, so it'll probably be pretty cold and there will be snow on the ground. Maybe snow on the ground. Is there snow on the ground in February in Seattle? In like Mount Rainier area, probably.
I have no clue. I have to get some snow at some point, I assume.
But yeah, looking forward to it. But the bigger thing was this little bit down at the bottom. Pokemon TCG open deck lists.
Actually, before we get to that, we could hit the. There was actually another thing that I want to talk about. It's the one right above the link you're about to click, the Swiss dynamic seeding, because we're gonna go into the other one for quite a while.
Sure.
This was like a. Yeah, go ahead and just read it, I guess, first.
Yeah, so Swiss dynamic seeding at select Pokemon VGC and Pokemon Go Championship Series events. Tournament event organizers may leverage Swiss dynamic seeding, a new seeding method where only a portion of a Swiss round's match pairings are seeded at the start of each round. Competitors who are not provided with a table number immediately when the round starts will be seeded when space is made available. Round timers will be adjusted for all competitors based on their seeding time to ensure a fair and equal competitive environment. Use of Swiss dynamic seeding will be announced to competitors in advance of the event.
It's just interesting, I guess.
So let me just say real quick, I feel like the reason it says for VGC and Pokemon Go,
they're faster.
No, is because of hardware requirements for those games.
Oh, but dude, like how many?
And so it's like they are capped.
And how many switches they have? But don't you bring your own Switch?
You do bring your own Switch, but all Pokemon Go players play on. They provide phones. Everyone plays on the same phone. And Pokemon Go is switching this year, I'm pretty sure, to Swiss, and they've been doing double elimination.
What do you mean
So,
switching to Swiss?
huh?
Oh, Pokemon Go. I thought you said VGC. Excuse
No,
me.
no. Pokemon Go, I believe, is switching to Swiss. Yeah, I guess they
Okay.
must be since they're doing Swiss dynamic seeding.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like in theory, they're gonna need more. They might have more players than they have phones, right? So I feel like that's probably a big reason why this is in here. That's just my kind of initial thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. My thought process was like maybe they're trying to save space on those players seeding, and because they are because like the VGC side of things and the Pokemon Go side of things is always done way before the TCG side of things. So like theoretically, they could. But the thing, I don't know, it's weird because it's still like almost like double the length of the round theoretically, right? Or it would be like as the faster matches conclude, then you'd get more people in there. I don't know. It seems like such a weird thing. I don't know. It's interesting, but I guess like theoretically, yeah, that would be a reason for sure. The hardware side of things, you only have so many Switch dock things, right? They need those for the video game, right? They provide the docks for people to plug into,
Yeah, but
or
I actually think that's going away with the Switch 2 because I think the like stuff is different, so they're just like not doing it anymore.
what do you mean?
Like they're not providing docks. So
You
if
have
you
to bring
want a
your
dock, you have
own.
to bring your own, or you can
Otherwise,
hold your Switch, I think, or put
oh,
it flat
otherwise
on
your
the
docks.
table.
They'll still have to have the cords though, right? They'll have a cord for you to plug into or something. Or am I
Yeah,
trolling?
there's still power adapters at the
But that can't.
table.
Those aren't like that expensive. They could. That's not that
Well,
much.
and your Switch also comes with one.
Yeah, that's true. Also, you could charge it before you show up for
True, but you got
tournament.
to play all day, so you're gonna run out of battery at some point.
What's the battery like on a Switch too? Is it good?
Not 9 hours.
Not 9 hours. Okay. Yeah, it's just interesting. It's just like weird. Like it feels weird. I'm curious to see. I'm curious to know why this is a because they say it'll be announced to competitors in advance of the event, so they don't plan on using this at every event. As far as we can tell right now, I guess they could announce this before for the first event of the year, and then they use it for every event after that. They haven't announced anything yet, I don't think. Yeah, it'd be definitely interesting to know why and what it looks like. I just kind of want to know what the process looks like for the players. Some of them sit down, so they play, and then immediately when a match is like reported, is it like on your Arcanine pairings? Would it because they get Arcanine pairings for VGC as well, right? Yeah, they do.
Yes.
So would their Arcanine powers be like wait to be seated instead of like giving your opponent, and then it would be like at a certain point refresh, and then it says now this is your opponent. You go sit down. I don't know. It'd just be like is it in waves or like I don't
I
know.
think I did see something. Maybe it's in the handbook. Um, where it outlined the process for this. But I'll see if I can find it. The word dynamic is not in the handbook, so never mind. But what I thought I had seen was something along the lines of like you would see something on your pairings that said, to wait, basically.
Hmm. Okay. To wait, and then it'll
Yeah.
eventually tell you to go
Yeah,
sit
yeah.
down. But you have to sit there and keep refreshing, or is it like
I
what
don't
is
know.
it?
I don't know. I guess it depends
Yeah,
on
it's
the
interesting.
software.
Yeah. I guess we'll yeah. I guess we'll see if it happens, and then I will probably get a better idea of what it looks like after it actually happens.
But it could be cool to see something similar to this applied for TCG and it's similar to what they're doing already in China and Japan. Is like kind of a version of this, but it's to allow more players to be competing. They had like async Swiss, right? Is what it's called.
Yeah, where you basically queued up. It's like playing ranked ladder IRL.
Yeah, so it's like that's like kind of like more parallel to this than like actual Swiss, right? So this is like a step towards potentially that could be something that happens in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see if that ever actually happens. I was never a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of the idea of async Swiss, but I guess it might not be that bad at the end of the day.
All right, and then the big thing here is Pokemon TCG open deck lists. At select Pokemon TCG Championship Series events, tournament organizers may reveal complete competitor deck lists to the public and all other competitors at specific phases of the tournament. Events that provide open deck lists will reveal this information to competitors during registration. So we know it's not happening for the first couple tournaments, Milwaukee and
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, because registration has already happened and that information was not there in registration. And I think it is interesting that these things, both of these things, but maybe namely this, was set up, announced at the same time that Seattle Regionals gets announced. And it may just be coincidence, right? But Seattle is where TPCI is located, where the headquarters are. So at Seattle Regionals, there will just by default be a larger TPCI presence at the tournament than there maybe normally is. There will be a lot more TPCI employees, maybe some higher ups in attendance. Maybe there's a chance that Seattle is a regionals where they want to try to experiment with something like this, right? See what it looks like in the game, how it would be handled. So, for those who don't know as well, VG has been operating with open team sheets the last couple of years, where you share your team with your opponent when you sit down for your match. So it could just be them wanting to try to find some sort of similarity there, some like kind of blanket policy across the board, maybe of like how they handle their games with this information being shared. I could also see it being something where it's like, in case we want to in the future at some tournament, like, we want to pull, be able to talk about what someone's deck is on stream that hasn't been on stream yet. Maybe that's like what this like little blurb is in there for. Like we could reveal your deck, but like not like show your deck list necessarily, but you know what I mean? Like talk about what XYZ player is playing, even if we haven't seen him on stream.
I think the wording behind it though, like, means that this is not what that is for, because it says at specific phases. So I think it's like all decks are public day one, all decks are public day two, all decks are public going to top cut. And you could maybe even
Sure.
argue it could just be for the finals, like going to the finals, the decks are public, whatever it might be. But I think that's definitely what is implied by the wording of the blurb here about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so there's like a lot of different reactions to this, right? A lot of conversation online. You posted yourself, open deck list overall lowers the skill ceiling in the game and would be a bad thing for day 1/day 2. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But I think it makes sense for top cuts, even in to even the playing field, as most but not all players in cut will have been streamed at that point. But then you had other sides of the
Yeah.
coin, like your testing partner Grant Manley, who said, I prefer open deck list with the added information of hiding info, surprise factor. That's all BS. I've lost to little Timmy's random Devo one too many times. Open list is higher skill, lower variance, which is all I want.
Yeah. And I think that was like a lot of reaction to like, I'll go on a little bit of a rant here. So my reason I think that the skill ceiling is lowered when open deck lists are around is you don't the pre-existing knowledge of being aware of what is played in the metagame in terms of not just archetypes, but like what do decks contain, and what counts of those cards they contain is just like completely removed from the game. You have to have no previous knowledge, or be up to date with the metagame in the format. Now, still knowing how your deck plays and knowing matchups and still playing an innovative list are still things that would exist. But it feels like that level of information being removed from the game is like a really big part of the game being removed from the game. At the scale of like everyone's playing open deck list from like day one, from like round one on. And I feel like on average, the better player will lose to the lesser player more often without that information being hidden. I think like at the top level of play, like S tier player versus S tier player, open versus closed deck list doesn't matter a whole ton. But when it's a lesser player, like a B tier player playing against an S tier player, I think with open deck list, the B tier player will beat the S tier player more often with open deck list than closed deck list. Now, I will say as well, maybe one of the reasons I feel more strongly about this is because like if the skill levels were equal between open and closed deck list, I would still prefer to play closed deck list. I like that extra layer of the puzzle to think about. Um,
That extra thing you have to weigh, is it worth playing around the potential of them playing
third
XYZ card in
boss.
their deck?
Yeah, exactly. A third boss or whatever. And I think some people argue that they think it's equal or it's like different skills, but I disagree. I think you just like remove a layer of skill. Like if you're playing up against a Dragon Ball player and you know they have 2 boss, instead of having to think about if they play a 3rd boss, you're still picking like it's either you just know the information, you play around the information, but you lose the whole knowledge base of having to predict, make a predictable guess on what information to play around. You still do the same thing where you pick the best play for the information you think is correct, but you just always have the correct information. You never have to analyze what you think is the correct information and choose what to play around. You just always know what to play around. So I definitely think it lowers the skill ceiling. In response to my tweet, actually, Hedrick specifically replied, and he thinks that while I agree that it may technically reduce the skill ceiling, in practice, I think it would lead to better player winning more often, which is the part I disagree with. So we both agree the skill ceiling gets lowered, but I think the better player would lose more often to a lesser player, and then 2 really, really good players would be kind of neutral, closer, open deckless. I don't think it actually matters that much for like the overall win percentages there. And then there
So
is
you
like
think
an
having decklist knowledge is that much of an advantage to a worse player compared
yeah,
to, I mean, I feel like on average, the better player. So it's like the thing that separates a really good player from a more mediocre player is, well, there's probably many things, right? But one of the things you could say is like how they, um, like assess and implement the information that they have, right? How they like download the information and like put it into action, right?
yeah,
So like that could be knowledge of what a standard list looks like. That could be
yeah,
knowledge of cards and format, right? Um knowledge of what that person played at their last tournament, what tech cards they had in their deck, right? Um and uh another way could be like, sometimes having that extra layer of information, like having perfect information, having a full open deck list, I feel like can almost create like for some people it could probably create like an information overload of like not processing and implementing it correctly. The better player will process and implement it correctly more often than the B
yeah,
tier player in your example, right?
yeah.
So like the better player will make better use of the information they have than the B tier lower tier player. So that would have to mean that on average they would win more often, right? That it would benefit them more often than the lower player.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
that's the
that's what I
opposite
mean.
of what you said. You said that the B tier player would win more often because they have this information.
In an open deckless scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they would just they wouldn't even have to they wouldn't be able to correctly analyze how many boss they wouldn't play around the correct number of boss on average that I play. They just know it.
Right.
What
But you know it too.
do you mean? Yeah,
Like
but
you
me,
have the
but
same
that
information
evens the
for
play.
them.
No, no, but when we're both guessing, I guess right more often. When we're both blind
But
guessing with
you are still able to use the information you now
yeah, yeah,
have
it just
better
makes
than they
yeah,
are.
yeah. I'm being able to use it too, but it just like instead of them guessing wrong, we both are just guaranteed the right answer.
But then you could argue that the guessing isn't necessarily skillful, right? Them guessing whether you do or don't play the third boss, is that necessarily skillful, or is that just I mean, it
I
is
mean,
to some, it is is it
any
more
part
or
of it
less?
skillful at that? Like, at what point do we just like remove all RNG from the Pokemon TCG and then we're just playing chess?
Well, that's not possible because it's a card game. There's
Well,
always
yeah,
going to
yeah,
be
but like, but
RNG.
if you just keep removing the layers, eventually we're just playing checkers with Pikachu's and Mews.
So like you want the better player to win more often. Yes, that's what I
Yeah.
think everyone
Yes.
wants, right?
Yeah.
Um and so in theory, the way to make the better player win more often is to remove as many variables as possible. Yes?
Not
That's
necessarily. No.
I think so.
Because the more variables that each player has to work through, the more work you have to do.
The more uncontrollable variables, let's say.
Yeah, but just because there's an uncontrollable variable doesn't mean you can't be the more educated on the variable. Being like you completely remove the like like the resource of being or the value of being educated on like a meta in a format. Not completely, like you still want to know your deck and know your matchups, but like understanding what all decks play across the metagame in the format and what they typically do or do not play and what they potentially include if they play deck A, or if they play card A, they're probably not playing card B. Like all that's completely removed, and we just know exactly. I should know your 60 cards.
Yes, but you will make use of it more often than they will. So
Well, but
it's
I'll do that no matter what. theoretically the better player always is going to be able to do
But
better
you
with.
can get if you
It's just another
you
factor that's what I'm saying. It's like a factor that existed and now it's gone, but it's not being
okay.
replaced with another variable.
So let's say that you're in a
If you look at it,
situation.
if you
Listen,
play,
hang on. Let's say let's say you uh are the one who it's like you're in the situation where you're having to guess if they
yeah,
have the second or third boss or the third boss in their deck or not, right? You're having to guess if they have that third boss, right? And you make a estimation that like, okay, I feel like there's a 80% chance that they do not have the third boss. So I'm going to make this play.
yeah,
And then they do have the third boss, right?
yeah,
You just lost to a 20%, which
that's
is
fine. But in the long run, I'm going to win more games. I don't care. I'm
but
not
if
playing
you
for
had the
one
perfect
tournament.
information, you would make the correct play 100% of the time as opposed to
Yeah, but
80% of the
so
time.
would all of my opponents.
That's not true. They
All of
would
my
not.
opponents would know I have two boss, and they would always play around two
But
boss.
that
I
doesn't mean
want
they
them
will
to
make the
guess.
best play. That doesn't mean they will
Yeah,
make
of
the best
course, but
play.
I want to add another layer to it where not only do they have to guess, they have to make the best play around the guess they made. They have to
Right.
guess whether or not I play 2 or 3 boss, and
So
then they have to make the best play around their guess, which they will guess wrong more often than I will. And then on top of that, they'll make the incorrect play more often than I will, on top of the wrong guess. So they guessed wrong, then they made the wrong play. So now they're 2 layers behind of where I am. If I guess right and then I make the right play for the guess, I'm ahead by that much more.
but I feel like we just disagree about this. And it's
I
like,
think yeah, and actually I was surprised to see how many people actually disagreed and like were for open deck lists. But I feel like
well, I'm not
and I
necessarily saying I'm for open deck lists, but
oh
like,
sure, disagree that the better player would win more often.
yes,
I mean, if I
yes.
thought the better I think there is actually a lot of positives for open deck lists, which I want to get to next. And if I thought the better player won more often with open deck lists, I'd be all for open deck list because it would reduce the it would reduce the or would increase the competitive integrity of the tournament. I think we look at the Tord situation at Worlds where he was on stream round 1, played some unique cards, immediately got exposed. Now, how much did that affect Tord's run? Who knows? But you could definitely be like, in some way that doesn't affect the competitive integrity of the tournament. Not because it was Tord specifically, but anyone who goes on stream the first round has a higher chance of people just knowing what they're playing when other people don't, right? So open decklist would fix that. If it was like from round 1 on, open decklist would fix that. You wouldn't have that question mark of potential like the tournament's competitive integrity being jeopardized to some extent in that way. It would reduce cheating, right? You'll have the open deck list. If your opponent literally, and this is actually kind of funny that this happened. Literally, one of my opponents at Worlds did not play the deck that they submitted. I don't think they were doing anything malicious. Probably just an accident. But one of my opponents at the World Championships this year was not playing the archetype that they had submitted. So that wouldn't happen. You couldn't, not that they were trying to get away with something, but if someone was trying to get away with something, switching decks, switching cards, you couldn't do that. Another positive for open deck list. Um, the scouting thing is like a big discussion that came up. Now, I don't think scouting is on the level that some people seem to think it is. And maybe I'm just not in the circles where this high level scouting is happening. So because like, but it seems like a lot of people think that people are getting a lot of information. Like the information that I got at Worlds when Worlds was happening was that Tord was playing the cards he was playing, but he was on stream, and that there were some people around playing Chansey and Togekiss in Golden Goes. I feel like most people, I feel like that information was pretty widespread pretty quickly. Like that wasn't like, so I think scouting is a thing. I think now I'm not trying to like downplay that scouting's like not a thing, but it would remove scouting. And apparently that's like a big thing that happened in Magic because Magic's like open deck list, at least for their Pro Tours. I don't know if for their Grand Prix it's open deck list and Grand Prix, but for Pro Tours it is, and that's like their big tournaments. And like effectively RICs are their Grand Prix. And like scouting was a big thing. Like the big teams and big groups would have like spreadsheets of people's decks and techs and all that kind of stuff. So it got bad enough to the point where I think that was one of the reasons that it sounded like open deck list was implemented. And like overall, from what I could see from people who play Magic, it seems like it's overall like accepted as like a positive thing now over in Magic. So listen, I if they bring it to the game, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope the better player wins more often with uh open deck list for sure. Like I do hope I'm wrong in that situation. And the more the discussion has gone on, the more I've kind of come around on the idea of open deck list. Like maybe for day 2, like I said, for Top Cut, I think it actually should just be a thing. I've been advocating for open deck list for Top Cut for a while now, though, and that's because like at that point, like probably half the players in Top Cut have been streamed. So it's like at that point there is like a bigger the competitive integrity in the tournament's jeopardized like that much more than just toward getting on stream round one of the world championships. But um, yeah, I'm definitely coming around a little bit more. I do still think, and this comes from like obviously it's like I said, like if it was equal in terms of skill, I would still prefer to play closed deckless. I prefer the way the game plays that way. But like, dude, I felt the difference. Like after COVID, like playing in open necklace tournaments for over a year or like a year or whatever it was, and then coming back and playing Salt Lake City for the first time, the game is just completely different. Closed deck. I feel like I had such a bigger advantage on average against my opponents with closed deck lists. Like I would watch them just make plays, and it's like they should know I have this card, and they just played right into this card. But if they have open deck lists, there's like on top of them just knowing the count of cards, I think on average players will see lines of play and possibilities they wouldn't have thought of previously if they weren't looking at your deck list before they started playing against you. Like I think they'll just remember, oh wait, you play escape rope or something like that, and then play around the escape rope in the mid game instead of having to know that and remember that in the moment as you're progressing your game against an opponent. Like because you just don't need to maintain that format and meta knowledge if you just have open deck lists. You just need to know your deck and know the matchups, and that's it. So maybe we'll see a higher level of play in those regards because you won't have to think as hard about the extra layer that doesn't exist anymore. So maybe we'll see like a higher level of play in terms of I don't know innovation with deck lists, possibly probably not innovation with deck lists, but like higher level of play with your own deck personally and into like the meta matchups for sure. I'm not 100%. I would prefer no open deck list, but like I do see the positives. There definitely is pros to open deck list for sure.
It does seem like more, I would say more uh good players have voiced like that they would be down for this. That like Ian Robb here replied to Grant's tweet and said agree, right? Like he would
Yeah.
prefer open deck lists too, you know. You mentioned Hedrick, right? I feel like I've seen a lot of like overall backing of this. And but based on the wording, I will say like it does seem like the word phases being used here, you pointed that out, like I think is
Yeah.
very important because that's the verbiage that's used between it's not day 1 and day 2, it's phase 1 and phase 2, right? And
And
phase
then top
3 is
cut.
top cut, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like it's most likely that this would be implemented in a sense of once you get to top cut. Another aspect of this that I have not seen anyone talk about that I think is a big deal when thinking about this is the amount of time that it would take. How much access to the deck list do you have? Do you get to look at it through the entirety of the match? Let's say you're spending 10 seconds thinking about a play. It's like, okay, well, do they play XYZ? Hang on, let me go look at this deck list.
It would have to
Okay. Oh, you do
be
play two boss. Okay, okay. Let me look at your discard pile. How many boss have you played? Okay. You know,
the
like
cards you
that's
have
a
in your hand.
whole other piece of it, right?
Yeah. And I think it would have to be like VGC, right? You get to look at the thing at the beginning of the match for like a minute or something. I don't know the exact rules in VGC, but you
I
get
think
to
you get
look at
90 seconds.
not yeah, I mean it would just be like that. I assume it would just be like that. Yeah, all those things would be easy to like iron out. I don't think those are like problems. Like it would probably be 90 seconds to look at your opponent's paper
Now,
deck list. Ideally, they make it available on your phone to see on Arcanine. Like just look at Arcanine real fast before you sit down for your match. Look at your opponent's deck list. Sit down, play the match. You know,
now
you don't get to reference it after that, obviously.
one thing about VG I will say is they have the team sheets, but they don't have all of the information
Yeah,
because the Pokemon stats are not on there. So they don't know because like you can train your Pokemon to be faster or slower potentially, right? And that is a whole meta in and of itself is like how fast are people making their X Pokemon right now? Because speed is like very important. Like you want to be the one moving first, right? So you can go max speed, but you want to use those stat points somewhere else. So sometimes you'll drop your speed a little bit, like you'll get greedy and drop it as much as you can, right? Um, so that is information that is not on team sheets in VG.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I mean, I guess they recommend Pokemon. They could just list all the cards you play, but not the counts. That could be
Sure.
something.
List
I
all the
think this is
Pokemon, but none of the trainers.
yeah. This came up on my stream. I think one of the big things that would be missed out on in terms of and like all right, this is another thing I actually want to make sure I get out there. I don't care about like the random texts and surprises. I hate that that's like people's counter argument. It's like oh you just want to be able to play your one of tech Badoo in your whatever deck and like surprise your opponent and beat them that way. That's not my argument at all. I think adding that extra layer of unknown information that you have to kind of think about and piece together what you think is correct in the situation for the deck you're playing against. It doesn't have to be, oh, did they play a third TM Devo in their Dragapult deck? Like I'm talking about just like how many bosses do they play? How many energy do they play? And like trying to create win conditions and advantages out of that in situations is the thing that I think is cool to have in the game. Not just like some random fifth TM Devo and Guard 4 or something like that. I don't really care about that. Where was I going with this? Where did I start off with? Where I started off with? Um, deck list,
We're
open
talking
deck
about
list,
open deck
boss.
lists in the Pokemon TCG.
Yeah, but where was I? I was gonna go somewhere else with this, and then this is where I ended up.
I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when we're recording and you get on like a good rant, I kind of just like tab over and like start reading something else and just kind of let you do your thing. I'm not gonna lie. And that was maybe just happening right now. So
I was saying something open deck lists. Yeah, the lag. I don't know. I had something else I was gonna say besides that. Yeah, I'm not. It's not for me. It's not so much
you'll
about
remember
the
by the time we
surprise.
get to the bonus episode.
Yeah, for me, it's not so much about the surprise TM Devos. It's like the extra layer of information that constantly is present in the game. I feel like is. Yeah, I say it. I think at least the better player winning more often. If I'm wrong, then I'm kind of all for open deck lists. But I don't think I'm wrong. But if I am wrong, let's open up those deck lists.
I kind of think you're wrong, to be honest, but I haven't fully fleshed out my thoughts well enough to like totally know. Like, I'm not saying you're definitely wrong. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
there's
yeah.
like a 60% chance you're wrong, maybe something. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But I'm down. I'm down to be wrong. You know,
I guess like yeah, the other
I want the
point.
thing that's better for like the more that leads to the better player winning more often. So
Well,
like,
okay, I say that. Well, I say that is because that's why I want it. But I could see there being enough actually pros for open deck lists, even if the better player loses less or wins less often, where it's just like all the other things that stack up against it that are pros of open deck lists. Like I said, less cheating. The other ones that I literally am forgetting. The competitive integrity. You know,
the
everyone's in the
accidental wrong deck list.
accidental wrong deck list. Yeah, towards 60 isn't leaked by round 5 of every single tournament. Like, and if I mean it is, but so is everyone else's. So it's like an even playing
Even
field.
playing field.
So the scouting, right? Scouting wouldn't be a thing in terms of that as well. Although I don't think it's like to the degree it probably was in Magic. Although as things get more competitive, it definitely would get to that point as well. And so maybe you could make the argument that's like we're gonna have to go to open deck lists at some point. Let's just do it now. I think that would be a fair argument for open deck lists as well. If you like, even if you believe all the things that I'm saying, if we both agree that eventually scouting is going to become such a toxic part of competing in tournaments that we're gonna have to go to open deck lists. Well, let's just do it right now. Then let's just like rip the band-aid off, and let's make open deck lists happen right now. Because I can see that being like a reasonable argument. Is that scouting would eventually get to the point where it's too much, and it creates like a really unenjoyable environment for anyone like less competitive and like newer, but still wants to compete in tournaments. Having to like deal with that would just like not be worth it.
So another thing that was updated here was the tournament rules handbook, and with the update for the tournament rules handbook, we did get kind of the full information. I'm pretty sure we didn't know this for sure exactly how it was going to break down, but of what the 2-day tournament format will look like. So most US tournaments will be between this number of 2049 and 4096. There's a chance at NAIC.
UIC as well.
Yeah, yeah, you're very right that we hit this threshold of 4097. It'll be tough. I think we could do it at NAIC, especially. EUIC, I feel like there's. I guess that's not. I was gonna say I feel like there's less space, but that's actually probably not true. The Excel is just
Yeah,
like is too big. Like,
it really comes down to how much of the Excel they booked, to be honest.
yeah. So anyway, but the confirmation here is the number of rounds between days. So 14 rounds for over 2,000 players. 8 rounds day 1, 6 rounds day 2.
Yeah. So it
So
is
for
a. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so for like a very, very long time, the threshold when you got over, I think the threshold is like over 700 players or something like that, was 9 rounds into, maybe it was even less than that. It was maybe like 500 something players. 9 rounds into like 5 rounds day 2 was like the threshold forever. And then it was a big deal when tournaments started getting big enough to get the 6th round of day 2. So it would be 9 rounds day 1, 6 rounds day 2. I remember that being a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is like we knew we were going to get +1 round going into the season. That's kind of all they told us though. But yeah, I don't think we knew that they were shifting a day 1 round to day 2, which is what they've done with this. Not only are we getting +1 round overall from last season, but now we're also getting one of the day 1 rounds moved to day 2, which honestly I'm kind of a fan of. Like day 1, like like the tournament was ending at like 5 6 p.m. I want to say, like day 2 it was over. So now like it'll be a little bit more like you're gonna get out of day 1 like around 7 p.m., maybe even 6 p.m. at some of these smaller ones with the 8 rounds. They're also cutting back. It is 50 minutes plus 1 instead of 50 minutes plus 3. So we're going to save a little time each round as well. And then only going to be 8 rounds. I guess this would only matter for a lot of the bigger ones because I guess like a lot of the ones last season were 8 rounds anyways, right? So we didn't have that many 9-round tournaments. But yeah, 6
Yeah.
rounds day 2. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll have the 6 rounds day 2, but it won't be like, tournaments aren't going to be like the end of the tournament's still going to be around the same time, like around 7 p.m. both days or something like that. So yeah, it's just kind of moving some of the tournament time over to day 2 instead. Definitely seems like a plus to be able to get out of day 1 a little bit sooner.
Yeah, and like lets more people just keep playing the tournament as well.
Yeah, for longer.
I think like a part of it too was like 9 rounds day 1. The more rounds you have day 1, the less people you have to bring back for day 2.
Yeah.
But now there's maybe like enough tournament staff where that's not really as much of a concern, right? So now we can bring more people back for day 2. More people can just continue competing for as long as they want to, which I think is also a good thing because even if they're not competing for prize money necessarily anymore or top cut, like even if you're not competing for top cut, you can still compete for some prize money. And even if you're not competing for prize money, you can still compete for more booster packs. And like it is at the end of the day still a hobby for the majority of people, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a bonus as well here.
Yeah, definitely. We had that change like last year. Also, this will like lead to, I think X21 can probably make top cut at most tournaments with this extra round.
Probably X2 too. It'll probably be 10-2 too.
You think so?
Yeah, it's for ASIM especially. Yeah, I think so.
I think it'll. I don't know about that. One extra round.
10-2 too.
Because X2 was making cut at a lot of them. I mean, X12 was slipping in there sometimes.
Yes.
I don't think X22 will be making
So
it.
X13, 10-1-3 is the same as.
Yeah, maybe that'll be the. I guess we'll just wait and see. We have the limitless Swiss calculator real fast. Let's run the numbers.
No, we will wait and see.
Yeah, we'll wait. I mean, I'll run the numbers before the. I mean, we're like only 2 weeks away from the first tournament, so I guess we'll see how that one plays out.
That is true. Yeah.
Ooh, actually, I guess there won't be any stream for Monterey, but we'll still be able to follow along on Pokedata. So
I don't know. I guess
we'll
if Robin probably doesn't have this updated all the way. That's the problem here with the Swiss calc.
True.
So like
maybe
what?
didn't.
There's 2,400 players. Tie rate of 0.15 and
wait, no, it's not that high. What the heck? Wait, what is it? It's been like 10, right? No, you might be right. It might be. No, you are right. You are right.
I know I'm right.
For some reason in my head I was saying like 0.05, but no, it is. Yeah, you're right. 0.15.
Oh my gosh, Julian changed how Puka data looks. If we go to TCG standings and we look at Portland regionals, it was 0.17.
Portland specifically, are you just trying to like? Do you like know one of them has a certain tie rate?
It was the last US regionals.
Oh, sure. Well, you can click the
AIC 0.16.
No, you're right. For some reason, I was thinking like 0.05 was the correct thing to put there, but you're right.
2-day tournament.
0.4. I think
Customs,
I was 0.4.
Extra official.
No. But that was like 0.4 or something. I should just see the number of rounds. See if he updated it.
Where does it say? Oh, 9 rounds, phase 1. No, he hasn't updated it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I bet by next week he'll have updated it.
Tune in next week.
For the answer. Don't do it yourself. Wait for us to do it for you.
Yeah. Asymmetrical. So yeah, now asymmetrical top 8, cut a top 16. I mean, I think these are all like these are definitely positive changes. I think a lot of players would still argue, and it probably is true. Like we'd probably want another round of Swiss back over asymmetrical cut. I kind of like asymmetrical cut. I think it's kind of cool. But if we do want the better players winning a majority of the time, I think more Swiss rounds always leads to that. So I don't know if we'll ever see like the full reversion back to just +2 plus another Swiss round and just remove asymmetrical cut completely. But this is definitely like a step in a better direction or positive direction.
All right, Azul. Well, I think that is it for our episode this week. You got anything else you want to say before we get out of here to the bonus episode?
No. Send us out.
Thanks so much to everyone for listening. As always, if you did enjoy the podcast, be sure to leave us a like, a review, a rating, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you enjoyed. Let us know which NFL team you're rooting for this season. Go Panthers. Hopefully we win the division. Who are you rooting for, Azul?
For the Panthers or who's the other team I'm rooting for? Oh, for just football in general?
Yes.
Oh, I thought
Did
you
you,
like
did you
wanted
do
me
the
to
thing where
pick.
you like zoned out and you were like reading something on Twitter or
No, I thought you like said two teams and you wanted me to pick between them, but the only one I remembered was Panther.
no, for the football season, bro?
I don't know. I'm kind of over. I wanted the Chiefs to win because just watching them three-peat would have been cool. I mean, them winning again, they could kind of, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs because it'd be kind of sick to see still. If they don't win
You're
this
like
season,
the
though,
only
I'm over
person
it.
who thinks that, like in the whole
It's
country.
cool. It would like, why would you not want to experience? It's not obviously it's not going to happen for very long. So why would you not want to be part of that experience? Getting to see them win three in a row. Well, last year 3 in a row would have been cool. Why would you not want
Well,
to
why
be
would
part
you
of
not
that?
start by rooting for the Eagles for them to start like winning their second, so next year they can win their third in a row?
Are they that good? Are they good enough to do that? I mean,
They're
they're
the Super
good.
Bowl champions, bro.
Are they the favorites going? Is that just default? Whoever wins is the favorite.
No, I think the Ravens are actually the betting favorites right now.
Favorites. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a higher chance that I get to experience it if the Chiefs win because the Eagles only have one. So I'm still going with the Chiefs one more time. If they don't make it, if they don't win this year, though, I'm off the bandwagon. I'm off the bandwagon. Go Ravens.
The Ravens are the number, or yeah, are in the betting lead at plus 650.
Okay.
And then it's the Bills, then the Eagles, then the Chiefs. You want to know where the Panthers are?
Second to last.
No, we got more hope than that. Sixth to last.
Okay. What is it? 32 teams?
32 teams.
Sheesh. I thought. No,
I
that's
think
pretty
we
bad,
are
actually.
not the
Never mind.
sixth worst team in the league this year. I'll say that. I think we
Okay.
will have a winning season.
Not gonna make the playoffs though.
No, I don't know. I think we could win our division, but that is partially because our division is the worst in football. And if that is the case, then we will make the playoffs if
Are
we
the
can win the
other
division.
three teams in your division below the Panthers and on
No.
the? Oh.
One of them is, and then the other one's only a couple ahead, and then the better one is like halfway up. So it's
Oh,
like
okay.
the division overall is pretty weak.
You think they have potential?
They've got potential. All right. Anyway, enough of that. Thanks so much again. If you want to keep up to date with us, you can follow us over on Twitter, myself at Chip Ritchie, Azul at Azul_GG. And then you can follow the podcast at Uncommon_Energy.
Appreciate the support as always. Catch y'all next Wednesday, 7 a.m. Eastern.